Hello everyone. Today we are going to do the map of Australia, and in within 20 minutes we will try to finish all of the important aspects that you must remember for UPSC and other state services examination in context with Australia. Not more than 20 minutes would we take to finish all of these maps. First of all, this is the basic map of Australia and the oceanic continent. As you can see, a lot of information is there on the map. But first of all, let's look at the small island nations. Small island. First of all, let's look at the international dateline. As you can see right here, this is the international dateline. This part is international dateline. Right here, it starts from this point. Okay, so international dateline is east of Australia. This is the international dateline. I am just redrawing it so that you understand where it passes through. Okay, this passes through like that. Okay, this is international dateline. Okay, it is east of Australia, and the Polynesian islands, these are the Polynesian islands, these are the Melanesian islands, and these are the Micronesian islands. These are the three set of islands where a lot of small island nation countries exist, and some of them we will see it in the later maps. But for brief overview, you should understand that the Polynesian islands are on the east of dateline, are on the east of international dateline, while the Micronesian islands, and these islands are on the west of Melanesian, and Micronesian are on the west of line. Melanesian, these are Melanesians. These are Micronesian, and these are Polynesians. These are on the eastern side of the international dateline. We are also aware that Papua New Guinea is right here, Australia is right here, and New Zealand is right here. Very simple. Let's go to the next map. Now the next map, first important thing is Tropic of Cancer. Right here, you can see Tropic of Cancer passes through Australia. Tropic of Cancer or Capricorn. My mistake. Tropic of Capricorn. Capricorn passes through Australia, and some important islands we have to see. You can see this is Micronesia. Right here we have Micronesia. These islands are Micronesian islands. These islands are Melanesian islands, and these islands are Polynesian islands. So let's zoom in into Australia. So first of all, you can see there is a Tasmanian. This is the state of Australia that is just south of that is the south of Australia. Then we have New Zealand. New Zealand has two main islands, that is the North Island and the South Island. Then we have other small islands part of New Zealand. First is Stewart Island. Then we have Auckland Island, and we have a Chatham Island. These are three islands that are important and are part of New Zealand. Then we have some important islands that are part of Australia. First is we have the Kangaroo Island right here in Adelaide, right here near Adelaide. Adelaide city is right here, and we have Kangaroo Island right next to it. Okay, then we have the Tasmanian State Island. This is the Tasmanian Island, and this is part of Australia. And when we have another island that is called Norfolk Island. It is called Norfolk Island. It is right above the North Island of New Zealand. So it is above New Zealand, but it is part of Australia. So this is a simple map of Australia, and we have understood some of the important aspects. Let's move to the next map. Okay. So some of the countries, as you can see, as we have seen, first of all, let's see, the Tasmanian Island is separated by the mainland Australia by Bass Strait. This is something that you should remember. Then another, the Australia is divided by New Zealand by Tasman Sea. Okay. Other islands we have already seen. Chatham Island we have seen Auckland Islands, and there is another island that is Antipode Island. That is also part of New Zealand. Here right is Norfolk Island, as we have seen, part of Australia. Now some of the important other things. First of all, Papua New Guinea is right here. Bismarck Sea is above Papua New Guinea. Then we have Federated State of Micronesia. We have Kiribati. We have Vanuatu. We have Solomon Islands. We have Tuvalu. We have Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, and French Polynesian Islands right here. We will go into these islands later on. Let's look at the map of Australia first. So the most important thing that you should remember is Lake Erie. EYRE. Very important lake of Australia, and has been in news continuously for over the last 2 to 3 years. So Lake Erie whenever Lake Erie comes, you should remember it is in Australia. Then we have the McDonald Range. McDonald Range is in Australia. Then we have the Great Dividing Range. The name is Great Dividing Range. Great Dividing Range. But remember, it is on the east side of Australia. It is on the east side of Australia. East side of Australia. It is not in the between. The question can be asked, the Great Dividing Range divides Australia into two equal parts. Incorrect. 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 Because it is not in the between. It is in the eastern side of Australia. Okay. Okay. Some important other important things. That is the Great Victorian Desert. Then we have the Flinders Range. Flinders Range. Flinders Range. Then we have the River Darling flowing into River Murray. River Darling going into River Murray and then eventually into the Indian Ocean or the Southern Ocean, you can say, or the Southern Ocean. Okay, into the Southern Ocean. Then we have Kimberley Plateau, very rich in resources. Very rich in resources. We have Cape York Peninsula. Cape York Peninsula. You should remember this, Cape York. Cape York is in Australia. Is in Australia. It is Australia. Then we have the famous Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef again on the eastern side, and Coral Sea. Of course, the Great Barrier Reef is in the Coral Sea. Is in the Coral Sea. So some important things we have seen. Okay. So let's move ahead to the next map. Okay. Next map. As you can see, this is a clear map of all the island nations and smaller island nations. That is in the Pacific Island. Most of them are in Pacific Island. You can see Polynesia. Polynesia. We have all of these islands. Easter Island and all of these islands are part of Polynesia. Then we have the Melanesia. Some of these islands are part of Melanesia Islands. Then we have the Micronesia. We have the Micronesia. You can see Marshall Islands, Guam, and then we have Palau. Then we have Papua New Guinea, Nauru, Solomon Island, etc., etc., etc. You must study them. Some of them on your own, especially those which are part of the SIDS, Small Island Developing States, where our Prime Minister also participated. Okay. Is there another map? Yes, there is another map. Okay, so this is map of New Zealand. As you can see, New Zealand is something like that, and there is Southern Island, there is North Island, South Island, and just below the South Island of New Zealand, right here, there is an island called Stewart Island. Stewart Island. Stewart Island. It is part of New Zealand. So we have seen some islands, that is Chatham Island. We have Stewart Island. Then we have seen another few more islands that were, let me remember them as well. Then we have the Auckland Islands and Antipode Islands. Auckland Island and Antipode Islands, part of Auckland Island and Antipode, that are part of New Zealand. So Stewart Island is is separated by Foveaux Strait. Stewart Island from mainland New Zealand or the southern New Zealand is separated by Foveaux Strait. Okay. So let's see the next map. Another important map, that is the various states and territories and the regions of Australia. So first of all, let's see. This is the Western Australian state or province. Then we have the Northern Territory. We have the Southern Australia. We have the Queensland. We have New South Wales. We have Victoria, and we have Tasmania. These are the states or provinces of Australia. So some important cities one must know. Where do they lie? Brisbane is on the east. Sydney is on the east. Canberra is on the east. Melbourne is in the southeast. Adelaide is also somewhere in the southeast. Okay. Whereas the Perth is in the west. Tasmania's capital is Hobart. Tasmania's capital is Hobart. Okay. So Lake Erie is in South Australia. South Australia region, we have Lake Erie. Some important gulfs we need to see. Gulf of Carpentaria is in the north. Of Australia. Then we have the Spencer Gulf, where Adelaide City is located. That is the Spencer Gulf. We have Kangaroo Island as well near the southern part of the. Then we have the Shark Bay on the east side. You can see Shark Bay on the eastern side. Shark Bay. Okay. These are some important, very basic, very simple, nothing too complex in this. And you can see this is the Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef is separated by Papua New Guinea by Torres Strait. So the Northern Australia is separated by the Papua New Guinea Islands by Torres Strait. Then Timor, this is Timor. East Timor is separated by Timor Sea. Then we also have Arafura Sea. So from west to east, we can say we have Timor Sea, then we have Arafura Sea, and then we have the Torres Strait. If something of this sort comes in arranging them, you can see this is the arrangement from west to east. Okay, I think there is nothing else we can see in this. Okay, so this is the geographical climate and the weather map of Australia. So you can see the temperate region. So the southern eastern part, this region is temperate. This region is temperate region. The Tropic of Capricorn passes through something like that. So this region is the temperate region. Then we have desert. Most of it is desert. Then we have equatorial, the northernmost tip of what is this place? This is place we have studied. This is place. This is called, what is it called? What this is called? Try to remember it. I am also trying to remember it. This is called, where is it? Yeah, this is called Cape York Peninsula. This is called Cape York Peninsula. We'll mark it here. Cape York Peninsula. This region is equatorial. This region is, as you can see, this is equatorial region right here. Then we have grasslands. All the yellow part, the bordering regions of the desert is grasslands. Then we have subtropical, light green color, subtropical, and then we have at the end tropical. And the northern region, this is tropical. This is tropical region of Australia. So Australia has a variety of diverse, from temperate to desert to grasslands to we have subtropical to equatorial to tropical. All of these are part of Australia. Okay, let's go to the next map. So next map we have is of New Zealand. Very important, New Zealand. Let's look. First of all, we know that North Island, South Island, and there are this southern island particularly has lot of mountains. Like that. Okay, it is mountain. So these mountains are called Southern Alps. Okay, and the North Island and the South Island are separated by Cook Strait, North Island and South Island. We have already seen Stewart Island separated by Foveaux Strait. We have already seen. Okay, next let's go to the next map. Again a similar map, a little bit in detail. We can see the Great Dividing Range, Great Barrier Reef, Cape York Peninsula, Gulf of Carpentaria, Arafura Sea, Timor Sea, Joseph Bonaparte Gulf. Then we have Shark Bay. Then we have Great Australian Bight. Then we have Spencer Gulf. Then we have Vincent Gulf. Then we have Bass Strait separating Tasmania and Australia. And we have Tasman Sea separating New Zealand. Okay. Now let's look at the rivers. So these are some of the tributaries of Darling River. This is Darling River, which goes into Murray River, which eventually falls into Indian Ocean or Southern Ocean, depending on how you point it. This is Mount Kosciuszko. Sounds like Japanese, but it is not. It is the highest peak in Australia. Okay, so Darling River is on the east side, whereas Darling Range is on the west side. Important to remember. Now some of the lakes, we have Lake Erie, Lake Torrens, Lake Grander. Then we have another lake, that is Lake Woods. So these are the important aspects of important regions, parts. McDonald Range we have already seen, Great Sandy Desert, Great Victorian Desert, and Grey Flinders Reef. We have already seen that, and you are already aware about it. Okay, let's look at New Zealand one more time. You can see this is separated. Stewart Island is separated by main New Zealand by Foveaux Strait. I'll zoom it in for you. Foveaux, Foveaux Strait. Okay, whereas the South Island and the North Island are separated by Cook Strait. Okay. Some important cities. Auckland is in the Northern Island. Great Barrier Island. Okay, Great Barrier Reef is in Australia, right? Somewhere here. Okay, Australia is here somewhere like that. But Great Barrier Island is in New Zealand. Some of the important bays of plenty, Hawke Bay, Haruki Gulf. These are all part of Pegasus Bay, Christchurch City. These are important for New Zealand. Okay. Again, we have to see the river. Very important river. This river is Murray River, and this river is Darling River. You can see. So a lot of tributaries. You can pause and see the tributaries. They comes and becomes Darling River, and Darling River eventually goes into the Murray River. Murray River. There are other rivers as well. You can see this is Lake Erie. So Lake Erie, lot of rivers flows into Lake Erie. Okay, like that. Lot of rivers flows into Lake Erie. Then we have some other important aspects of Australia. You can see these are the rivers that are inland rivers. These are some of the inland rivers, that is Sandover, Huge, Todd River, and we have you can see Sandover River, Huge River, Todd River, Plenty River, all of them. Some of the rivers goes into the northern side, some of the river. Okay, so more important is Darling River, that is the Darling River and Murray River, and Erie Lake, that is this lake. Okay, next, again another simple map, that is of where does this is the Great Dividing Range. Darling River originates from that, and Murray River, it falls into Murray River and eventually into near Adelaide into the Southern Ocean or the Indian Ocean. You can say Western Australia, this is Northern Territory. We have already seen Gulf of Carpentaria, Coral Sea, Brisbane, all the cities we have already seen. Next map, let's go. Another simpler map stating that Lake Erie, Simpson Desert, North Territory, Great Sandy Desert, Western Australia, Victoria Desert. Then we have Nullarbor Plains, South Wales, Great Basin, Dividing Range, Australian Alps, Darling, Murray, Lake Erie. That's it. I think Australia, enough of Australia. Now we can see some of the important places. Here we have to remember that some four islands and reefs that are first of all we have Whitsunday Island. Then we have Heart Reef. Okay. Third we have Huron Island. Okay. And fourth we have Lady Elliot Island. Okay. So what are these? These are the islands and the locations that are part of Great Barrier Reef. So these four are specifically important, but you can see all other places as well: Port Douglas, Cairns, Townsville, Ariana Beach, Gladstone. All of these are in Great Barrier Reef. Okay. Let's look at another map, simple map, that is McDonnell Range, Great Sandy Desert, Gibson Desert, Great Victorian Desert, Lake Erie, Darling River falls into Murray River. Then we have Australian Alps, that is where the Murray originates, and then we have the Great Dividing Range, from where specifically the Blue Mountains, from where the Darling River originates and goes into the ocean. We have seen Spencer Gulf, we have seen Shark Bay, we have seen Coral Sea, we have seen Cape York Peninsula, we have seen Carpentaria Gulf, we have seen the Arafura Sea, Timor Sea, and Torres Strait right here. Okay, then we have the Tasmania, separated by Bass Strait. I am just repeating so that it goes into your long-term memory. Okay, some other maps we have to see. Let's go quickly. So this shows the extent of Great Barrier Reef from the Cape York Peninsula, tip of Cape York, up to right here. This is the Great Barrier Reef, one of the most productive coral ecosystems in the world. Now let's look at some of the resource map of, as you are already aware, that in terms of reserves, specifically for uranium, Australia has the maximum reserves. So wherever that is U written, uranium, this is all uranium regions. This is all uranium in Australia. As you can see, lot of U's here. Okay, not only uranium, you can see the pink region, that is oil and gas fields. These are oil and gas fields, oil and gas fields, oil and gas fields, oil and gas fields in Australia. Then we have coal production, these black spots, coal production, coal region of Australia. All of these are. So basically Australia is very rich in lot of resources and minerals, and plays an important part in global production of lot of resources. Okay, this is a mountainous rivers, we have seen it. Then you can see the density. This as per 2010 is an old image, but still this must have not changed, because most of the Australia is a part of desert, so very less population density is very less. Most of the people are living on the coastal regions. Okay, another similar, we have written it. Okay, so this is another map where you can see the Great Barrier Reef and the cities and the important national parks. You can take a screenshot of it if you want to, but I don't think you have to remember that, but you should know some of the important islands, that is the Whitsunday Island, Comberbell Island, all some important islands that are part of Great Barrier Reef. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, so this is regarding pipeline. This is the pipeline of reserves, petrol reserves, and gas. So let's see why we are seeing this map line, because in UPSC PYQs prelims Sumed pipeline was asked. So whenever I'm going to show you a lot of maps, wherever I'm going in various part of the world, I will try to include various petroleum gas pipelines that are part of that country, so that if such question comes regarding pipeline one more time, you are able to answer it. So this is a joint development plan that was established by Indonesia and Australia for reserves, for finding out petrochemical reserves, and a pipeline from Bayodan field was started by Australia up to Darwin. So you should remember Bayu Undan is part of joint petroleum development area, and the pipeline is for Australia. Then Greater Sunrise is also an important field. Khitan is also important field. Okay, very simple, nothing too complex in this, that is you are not able to understand. Okay, so this is we have this is part of Australia's important. First of all, we should know that Torres Strait. That is the Torres Strait that separates the Papua New Guinea Islands from the mainland Australia. That's it. Torres Strait Islands. These are all Torres Strait Islands. You can take a screenshot and see. I'll try to remove all of this, and you can take your time to read about these islands. Nothing to remember in these, but you should be aware which island are located at which location, and some of them are important here, some of them are not. Okay, let's go to the next map. So very important aspect of this is to understand that these island countries are very important for India's perspective, because Prime Minister has again and again said that these are not small island countries, but large ocean countries. Remember, Prime Minister has repeatedly said that these are not small island countries but large ocean countries. So the question can be asked regarding the places where Prime Minister has visited, or the development projects which we have started in various aspects, and the collaborative efforts that we are going to have with these countries. We will look at into various events and programs and all the conferences that have happened, and Prime Minister participated in that in later lectures. But for now, you should remember the basic map of where. If I say Fiji is where, you should be able to remember where Fiji is. If I say Tuvalu is where, you should be able to remember where Tuvalu is. Okay, so this is the uranium reserves, and you can see Australia has the maximum. Then we have Kazakhstan, then we have Canada. So in terms of reserves, we have Australia is the max, then we have Kazakhstan, and then we have Canada. So this is the order of reserves. Okay, now if you look at production, first we looked at reserves. Now if you look at production, Kazakhstan is top, then we have Namibia, then we have Canada, then we have Australia. So in terms of production of uranium, you should write Kazakhstan, then you should write Namibia, then you should write we have Canada, and then we have Australia. So Australia is not top in terms of production, but only in terms of reserves. So other than uranium and the minerals that I mentioned, the coal and gas and all, some of the other minerals are there in this map. As you can see, we have a lot of silver and gold. AU, AG, AG, AU, AU, AG, AU, AG, AG, AU, AU. So lot of it in Australia. Silver and gold, lot of it in Australia. We have coal. These are all golden. These are all coal. You have seen coal. Tungsten, platinum, lead, nickel, manganese, bauxite, copper. A lot of resources in Australia. Okay. Now we have to see an important line, that is the Wallace line. What is Wallace line? This is the Wallace line. The kind of diversity, the animal diversity or the biodiversity that is here is not present here. So this line separates this line. This is an imaginary line called Wallace line. This separates the kind of animal found in the northern part and the animals found in the southern part. And the animals living here does not usually cross into the northern regions. Okay. One more understanding to understand. We can see this. Wallace line delineates Australian and Southeast Asian fauna. The probable extent of land at which time of last maximum when the sea level was more than there, lower today, shown in grey. The deep water of the Lombok Strait and Bali and the Lombok formed barrier even the lower sea levels. So this is important Wallace line, and the animals that are present in this region does not come to this region. Okay, some of the important animals that are only found in Australia, we have some. First of all, koala, it is a marsupial, then we have kangaroo, again marsupial. Then we have platypus is what? It is monotreme. We will discuss all of these in later classes as well. Then we have spinner dolphins, we have mulgata, and then we have emu, then we have echidna also are important in Australia. So basically we have covered a lot of things about Australia, and we will do a lot more as well, specifically when we talk about the indigenous populations and the places, the people, and some important UNESCO World Heritage sites are also. So I think that is enough. I think we are over 20 minutes, and hope to see you for the next lecture. Thank you.